Good evening and welcome to Business with me, Matilda Nyakwa Kweku. President John Mahama has commissioned a new shrimp farming project in Ada. The GAVI aquaculture shrimp farming project is a pilot of government's nucleus outgrower fish farming scheme, which according to the president would increase over 2,000 jobs and impact positively on the country's economy. Gifty Ando Apia has the rest of the story.
Hatchery currently has over 200,000 larvae of tiger shrimp species and has grown over 100,000 of the shrimps. The facility, according to officials, has the capacity to produce 15 million larvae on a monthly basis. Speaking at the inauguration, director and scientist in charge, A.K. Ama, said the challenges recorded in mainstream fishing makes promotion of the tiger shrimp fishing concept even more compelling.
Ghanaian fish stocks are overexploited, with marine fishes in serious decline due to the intense fishing pressure by offshore trawlers, purse-seiners, light fishing, artisanal beach seining, lagoon over-harvesting of the juveniles. GAVI has made a grateful and pioneered the takeoff of a multi-billion industry, multi-billion-dollar industry, not cities, which we dare say has the potential of rivaling our cocoa if we as a nation take shrimp agriculture very serious. We need full government participation for the realization of this great vision for their great nation. Vietnam and other countries have done it in a matter of a few decades. If we give shrimp agriculture the support it deserves, and we have a large tracts of land for this certainly will be the beginning of another economic boon for our dear country, Ghana.
The project is a collaborative effort between Ghana and Vietnam. The Vietnamese ambassador, Hong Kong Huang, was of the view Ghana has even more favorable climatic conditions for the tiger shrimp species than Vietnam, even though they have managed to make shrimps one of their biggest exports.
If Ghana and other international or financial organization could support for finance, Vietnam should send expert and technicians to work together in such project like GAVI project now. So I wish the friendship, solidarity and development cooperation between the government and people of Ghana and Vietnam is gradually strengthened and developed.
President Mahama noted the new fishing scheme will target university graduates with the relevant study backgrounds using the National Service Scheme and urged youth in the area to also take advantage of the job opportunities it presents.
The goal of this project is to establish 15 nuclear farms and 195 outgrower farms over the next 30 months. The aim is to train them on the job as outgrowers so that eventually job avenues are provided for those willing to engage in aquaculture as a business. Coastal fishing will also be boosted when the subsidiary agreement under the CDB on marine landing sites is.
The project, he added, could create 50,000 jobs along the value chain and called for hygienic standards to be maintained.
I wish to add that the GAVI company should maintain good hygienic practices in order to meet the strict quality assurance standards that are required from certification bodies, so that a niche market is well developed with premium prices. Overall estimates suggest that there's a huge economic potential for shrimp farming in Ghana worth more than $2 billion per annum. Indeed, I was quite shocked when I saw this figure, because if we export shrimps in excess of $2 billion, that even exceeds our revenues from oil and petroleum, which amount to only $600 million in 2013. So, more grease to your elbows, GAVI. I'm watching to see you achieve this.
With an increasing demand for jobs on a daily basis all over the country, the president in his speech believes projects like these would help in the fight against unemployment in the country. Gifty Ando Apia, Joy News, Ada.
Renowned Indian environmentalist Dr. Yandana Shiva says Ghana is facing recolonization of its seeds. Speaking on the AM show Tuesday, she noted the Plant Breeders Bill should be a farmers' right bill As Ghanaian farmers do over 99% of breeding, she noted the best way to ensure food security is biodiversity.
What Ghana is facing is what India is facing, is what Tanzania is facing, what Zimbabwe is facing, what the US is facing, what Europe is facing. A recolonization and a new resource grab, this time of the living wealth that we have evolved over 10,000 years of farming, are seeds. And these seeds now are claimed to be the intellectual property of 5 companies. I was very privileged to have been at a meeting in '87. So an honest plant breeders bill should be a farmers' rights bill, because 99.9% breeding has been done by farmers who have given us the tremendous diversity of crops. The millets, 200 varieties of rice in India, thousands of varieties of corn in Mexico. They are the ones who evolved this working with nature.
Now, in another development, UK rating agency Fitch has projected a negative outlook for Ghana's economy. According to Fitch, the high budget deficit, depreciation CD, and a drop in external reserves are challenges which needs to be addressed. The observations are captured in the following report.
Ghana's financial situation is described as vulnerable by UK rating agency Fitch. Fitch is raising red flags about Bank of Ghana financing the government deficit because it has done so to a level which is twice the bank's full-year limit. It is also cautioning government not to print money to finance the deficit. In the report, Fitch warns that the rising bond yields and cancelled bond auctions are making market participants increasingly worried, reflecting Ghana's current fiscal and external vulnerabilities. Fitch is predicting that the budget deficit will go up to more than 10% of GDP, above government's 8.5% target. This is because of rising interest costs and weaker revenue growth. In Fitch's view, a third consecutive year of double-digit budget deficits is not a good sign for Ghana. In addition to the uncertainty is the depreciation of the cedi, making external financing conditions tight over the coming months. In light of this, Ghanaian banks may suffer in repaying dollar loans taken out during 2013. Reserves were identified at $4.7 billion in March 2014, a fall of $900 million over the first quarter of 2014, and just 2.3 months of current external payments. Based on these issues, Fitch says the outlook is not good for Ghana. The next scheduled rating review will be on September 26, 2014.
Deputy Minister of Finance Kasel Atoforsen has called on revenue authorities to work hard to achieve their revenue targets this year. Last year's revenue was 19.6% below target, blamed mainly on the election petition and power crisis. He promised the staff of the revenue agency will be rewarded with bonuses if they achieve their targets this year.
The Deputy Minister of Finance was on an unannounced visit to the Ghana Revenue Authority offices at Circle, Osu, Spinkters and Tema.
Because of the volume that they collect and as a percentage to the total tax revenue that we get as a country, I found it very important that today I should visit them and look at how they are doing so that in the end we don't end up getting surprises. I can also say that they have some few challenges which government will also try to address. But in the end, I would say that overall I'm somehow impressed. And there's the need for us to employ continuous improvement mechanism to ensure that we can rope in the tax that we require. I would say that overall, when you are confronted with an economy that is becoming very dynamic, then you require that the people should be also dynamic. And that is why we're here. We consider that we have to provide them with enough training. We consider that outside the training, we also have to give them logistics for them to do their job.
According to him, government had widened the tax net and adopted tax compliance and effectiveness measures to increase revenue this year.
We've broadened the tax base. Okay. Secondly, what we've also been able to do is to ensure that we employ tax effectiveness and efficiency by bringing in a lot of tax compliance measures to ensure that, yes, we don't get them we don't get the taxpayer off the hook. A typical tax compliance measure we brought is the introduction of the tax stamp. The tax stamp is a compliance measure. It's not a new tax. It's just there to ensure that the goods that we buy, the excisable goods, are paying the right taxes. And these are compliance measures we are putting in place. We are seeing good signs already. But let me say that if you look at the customs side as well, the tax effectiveness and efficiency that we've employed is paying and is yielding some dividend out of that. For us, we will not say that we'll wait until they are done and then we'll get surprises at the end of the year. We'll ensure that GRA will achieve their target.
Ato Forson also advised the workers to adopt new innovations to improve the domestic tax revenue this year.
Senior policy analyst and technical assistant to the NDPC Director General at the National Development Planning Commission, Kenneth Owusu, says government's inability to predict shocks is partly to blame for the current economic challenges.
Ghana's ability to predict long-term what some of these shocks are is quite a problem, because sometimes we are just caught by unaware, and some of these things are very difficult to be able to handle in the short term. You need a long term. For a country like ours, we currently don't even have a comprehensive forecasting model. Some exist in various institutions, but a country like this, we need to have some comprehensive model that allows some measure of predictability of what some of these external shocks are going forward.
That's all for business with me, Matilda Nyakwa Kweku.